up, though?
What's up, cousins? Y'all know what time it is. It's your favorite cousins. I'm Hope. This is my cousin. And you already know what time it is, man. It's time to hop into some great conversation, some good vibes, the whole nine, man. And we got some great topics for y'all today. We know it's been, about a week or so since y'all seen our beautiful faces, but we back like we never left. You know, fortunately, we entrepreneurs, so our schedule was still crazy. We still getting the hang, the swing of being on the on time schedule. So bear with us as we take this journey because it is definitely a journey, but we love every second of it. So we're gonna go ahead and hop right into this episode, man. Don does a great job of picking out great topics that flow from the previous week. So I really love the topics that we got today. And I know usually we attack all the topics at the beginning of the show, but I want to do something a little different today where we go topic by topic, just so we can stay connected with y'all and y'all we don't lose y'all in the process. So the first thing that we gonna hit on is when purpose feels heavy. And I really like this one, y'all, because sometimes walking in your purpose definitely feels heavy, definitely feels like you alone. When they say it's lonely at the top, they don't mean it like for real, but they mean it for real. You get what I'm saying? Like you're gonna have a lot of people around you, but it still might feel a little lonely. So we're gonna hop right into this topic to kick the show off. And let's just dive deep down into it. And that first talking point is ooh, it's heavy. So, Dom, man, when purpose feels heavy, the emotional side of walking in purpose that no one talks about.
Yeah.
Um, you have
I,
recently kind of stepped into your purpose, so I kind of want you to start the conversation off with this because
oh, Lord.
especially going from corporate to entrepreneurship. You feel me? Like
Yes,
I think this
yes.
is the topic for you.
This is, well, I appreciate that, because I really was thinking about that. Like when we decide on what topics we want to talk about, I'm starting to, just properly prepare, like, man, what do I want to share? And that was the thing that came up about like the emotional side of walking in purpose and like feeling called to do something bigger, but really feeling drained in the process. And I could just share a tidbit of I like when I was in corporate and the last position that I was in, it was just like I just kept on getting denials. Like I was supposed to be looking for another role in the company, and it was just like, no, 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 you did great, but no. Like it was, I was like, hey, do you have any feedback of how I could do things better, and et cetera, et cetera. And they'd be like, no, you did great. And I'm like, I ain't do that great because I got the job, right? um, but also it just felt like I kept hitting a glass ceiling. Even when you feel like, oh, this plethora of opportunities are here, I could potentially take advantage of it. I still felt like I had a glass ceiling above my head. Like no matter what I did, whether I asked for feedback and I made the appropriate changes, or I tried to apply for a job that maybe had better pay and that fit my skill set at that time, or it was just like I joined programs and everything was just really pointing to no. And it was very disheartening, and I was very discouraged for quite some time, because it's like, man, I've been in this company for so long, but yet I just feel like I don't belong at all. And so with that being said, like I really had to face the reality that my time was near. I had already said, like, hey, Dominique, when you hit 15 years, you're going to be doing something different because you've given a lot of who you are. You've grown in that company, and it's time to move to the next level. But really, God had a different plan for me, because I didn't make it to 15 years. I made it close, but when you really feel like, man, there's something more out there for me, like you're going to get denied for everything you try that is not in alignment with what is meant for you. And so it felt really heavy again for me, because I had to go through a lot of emotional things. Like I went through it privately, but I was able to, go to therapy and talk it through and journal and just kind of do all of those things to help ease my mind. And by the way, I don't know if you know this, but today is, I believe, World Mental Health Day. So it's so
Mm,
interesting that we're talking about this. But
mm.
mental health is very important. I'm an advocate of taking care of your mind. And so I really had to be real with myself and be like, Dominique, I think it's time. But
Hmm.
I just didn't know exactly when that time was. And so, you know, and it's a lot of people don't talk about grieving the workplace in the work in the relationship,
Mm,
especially if you've been with that company
mm.
for a certain amount of time. You can miss the people, you can miss the culture, you can miss, you know, the benefits, the perks, like you can miss all of those things, and you're like, dang, I really got to let this go because this has been my identity for so long. And so now it's time to reframe your mindset and everything else that is meant for you in changing, or more so evolving. So it definitely was a heavy time, but I feel so free now. And I feel it's a lot of freedom, a lot of flexibility. Of course, there's still work that needs to be done. And honestly, you might be doing a lot more work when you're you know, stepping into that next level. But yeah, it's heavy. I believe
I
I'm
want
walking
to
this
touch
earth.
on the fact that you said when you leave a job, it's like leaving a relationship. It's like going
Yes.
through it's like going through a funeral. You feel like something died inside of you. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? You so used to your routine. We talked about building a routine, but we didn't talk about how when your routine is interrupted, how detrimental it could be to your mental, to your daily schedule, to everything. Just one tweak in your routine, as far and your job is the biggest part of your routine. So even though it's
Yes.
only one part of your routine, it's a large part of your routine.
Yes.
So it once it changes, or you have to leave your job, or you're fired, or whatever the case may be, it takes a toll on you mentally, emotionally, physically. I've seen people get sick, they lose their job. And I'm not even talking about people who lost their job that's making $100,000 a year. I'm talking about people making $50,000, $60,000 a year,
Hmm.
physically sick because they lost their
Yep.
job, because that's your health benefits, that's your, what I'm saying, like it's a lot that go into actually having a job. So I'm glad
Hmm.
that you was able to touch on, that part of it, because a lot of people don't understand. And then just being able to understand where you're coming from as far as those no's. Um in the last few
Hmm.
years, we worked overtime trying to
Hmm.
systemize the print company so that I could go venture off and do other things and have other streams of income. But at the same time, my company does not fail or, fall by the wayside. And so in my mind, I'm thinking like, if I get this systemized and I free up this time, then I can go work a corporate job somewhere, give me some good benefits.
Yeah.
And just like you, it was no. I'm talking about people that I personally knew that could have just pulled the trigger
Mm.
and said, "Hey, you got the job." They literally telling me like, "No, I'm not employing you because you better than this. This is beneath
Mm.
you. This is not what you need." Like, I know you probably feel that way right now because you want your health benefits and you want your steady income and this. Like, I
Mhm.
literally had somebody who literally was the hiring person at it could have been a $70,000 position. Tell me no,
Mhm.
it's not for you. It's Yeah, you can do the job with your eyes closed, but you think it won't affect your business, it will, because I know the time that you have to dedicate to this. And I don't care
Mhm.
how many systems you got in place. I don't want to see your branded print fall by the wayside because you got something bigger on the horizon. And it was like a two-edged sword, because it was like
Mhm.
my feelings was hurt because how dare you tell me no?
Yes.
But at the
Yeah.
same time, it's like, oh, you think this of me? Like, this is what you see from my company? Like, okay, like, so I was like happy, sad,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
for a little second, like doubt was creeping in my head. I'm like, did she just say that just because like it was the easier way to let me down? Or, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But then as I kept going and kept going, that's just what, I kept getting the same feedback. Like even now, one of my clients is hiring. He just opened another location. I'm like, I'll go run your location for you. He like, no, I need you to do what you're doing. Do the marketing, do the flyers, and I'll make
Yeah.
sure you're good. It's to the point. I mean, he was like, listen, if you do this, and this, I will give you bonuses to make up for whatever you think you feel like you losing. Like, you know what I'm saying? And
Oh,
I'm sitting in the meeting, I'm like, but at the same time, I'm like, dog, but you could have just hired me at $20 an hour. We went good. I ain't even asking for that much. You feel me? But I understood where he was coming from, because again, I had already been down that road with
man.
other companies. But like I said,
Ooh.
it's a two uh edged sword when it comes to that. Cause like you gotta be mentally strong too. Cause like even with the no's and the reasons why they say no, even though they telling you like no, it's not you, you good, it can still creep your head and have you doubting yourself,
Man.
have you second guessing what you've been working hard towards, and the goals that you set for yourself. And
Yeah.
sometimes what we think is the plan is not the plan, and so sometimes you
Mm.
just got to trust the process. Sometimes you just gotta trust, and
Yes.
trusting anything is hard. But when you trust in a
Yes.
process that you don't know, you haven't seen, you can't see the outcome of it, you don't see the inner workings of
Mm-hmm.
it. You just gotta lead, go follow by faith. It'll play tricks on your mind, man. It'll play tricks on your mind. How you
And I'm
sitting in the
so
bed
glad.
like, I don't even need to get up out the bed today. Like, what I'm getting out the bed for? Like, I ain't got no customers today. I ain't got no
Oh
orders. You feel me?
Lord.
Like, it'll have you feeling
Get
that
your
way
butt
for
up.
real,
That's
for
what
real.
you need. Get that up.
And get
No,
you some
but
clients and
I'm
some
so
customers,
glad.
big dog. Okay.
Listen, but I'm so glad that you talked about God's plan, because that just goes into our next topic of like God's plan not matching yours. And so just to reflect on your journey, Hope, like just thinking about where you are today, did you have like any kind of timelines that you had in your head about where you think you should be, what you should be doing, and like did you have any of that in your head, and like how did that align with um God's plan and essentially where you are today? Like how's that being?
Man, what I had hella timelines in my head. And we talked about this before.
Really?
Like
What would you
in
say
the
was one of your timelines?
I definitely did not want to be and I'm not saying I'm robbing Peter to pay Paul, because God has been good. God has been so
Mm-hmm.
good to me. This year I've been consistently able, and I'm proud to be able to say this because as an entrepreneur, a lot of people can't, but I've consistently been able to pay my bills most of the time on time. You know what I'm saying? Just
Yes.
it was a time where I was begging, praying, God, can I just get one order, God? Like, I don't care what don't get paid. I just want one order. Like, it was a time. And
Mm.
so coming full circle 10 years later, you feel me? Like, I definitely had timelines, and I'm gonna just keep it funky with you. Did not meet not none of them. Not
Mm-hmm.
one. But in that not meeting them, like early on, it used to get to me. I was like, man, I'm 25. I should be doing this. I should be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about it in an earlier episode where I was telling you, like, all of my friends is older than me. So it made me feel like I was playing from far behind when really they 10, 15 years my senior. And
Yeah.
so they the ones really playing from behind. You feel me? But when it come to timelines, like, I did not demolish or crush a timeline that I had set for myself. It really did happen in God's purpose. Because I'm like, my time, most people don't, my degree is in culinary arts. It's not even in this. You feel me? Like, this wasn't even the plan. This was never the goal. This was never the setup. I
Mm.
ain't, you know what I'm saying? You know how some people, they know exactly what they're going to be in life and they set the play and
Mm-hmm.
they conquer it and go. That wasn't me. Like, I turned 18. I graduated from high school. I thought I wanted to cook. I love putting stuff together and, flavor profiles, the whole nine. And then went to school, got out of school, and I'll never forget. They tried to make me a line cook. And I'm at first I was cool with it because I'm like, everybody got to go through something. You got to start from the bottom and
Yes.
get there.
Yes.
But I'm gonna just keep it funky with you. The first week that I'm there, I'm talking to the other line cooks. Ain't none of them been to school. I got $20,000 worth of debt. You know what I'm saying? It started making me feel away. I'm like, what is I
Mm-hmm.
gotta go
Mm-hmm.
work the same job as these people. They ain't even take the time out to learn their craft the right way.
Ooh,
Like,
ooh.
it made me
Ooh, ooh.
mad. It pissed
Yeah.
me off. And then the whole Prince situation just kind of unfolded. And again, even at that time, I didn't think that I would be still going this strong 10 years later and be able to do some of the things in life that I've done because of Prince.
I
But
remember your opening, your first location right there on Livernois.
yep,
Yep.
yep. That was my first freestanding building, and we had a lot of love and participation that day. Like, it was beautiful. Like,
Yeah.
especially because by then I had moved to Texas, so being able to come back to Detroit and like get that type of love and that type of feedback was amazing. But even that wasn't in the timeline. Like, none of what has happened in my life was on my timeline. That's why I've
What
learned to just trust God. Like,
What would
cause
you say is like one of your personal timelines that you had to let go of? And I'm not talking about business. I'm
I wanted to be making $250,000 a year, like me, not my company, me
Mhm.
as a person. I wanted to be making $250,000 a year by the time I turned 30. And when I turned 30, my company wasn't even making $250,000 a year. So it was like a double blow. Cause it's like, not only am I not making 250,000, your branded
Mhm.
print ain't even making 250,000. I ain't even nowhere close to the dream, to the goal, to the finish line. Like, and that's when it was an eye opener, because I remember saying that out loud to one of my partners. They was like, yeah, but if you go back and look at your books, how much you was you making the first year? How much you was you making the second year? How much you was making the third year? And I'm saying it out loud. And the last thing he said, he was like, that sounds like steady growth to me. Sound like you grew to me. And it was
Mm.
like, you might be right, but at the same time, that 250,000 sound good. But at the same time, I would go back to it again. I remember when I was begging God for just one order. And not some weeks I be like, God, please don't let nobody talk to me. Don't let them order nothing. All my bills is paid this month. Leave me alone for one day. That's all I need. Just one day of peace. Cause
Yeah.
sometimes you really don't know what you asking God for. You think you asking him for one thing, but you don't know what really like comes with all of that territory. You asking God to make $250,000, but you ain't even prepared to make $250,000 because you ain't did the work that make you be able to make $250,000
Maybe.
and sustain it. You get what I'm
But you know
saying? So
what's so interesting with you setting up those systems though, that's going to help you get faster to your
for sure,
goal. You know what
for
I'm
sure.
saying? I
And even though
definitely
I thought
was.
I was setting up the systems to take me out of it and do the, I was
Mm-hmm.
setting up the systems to make my company better.
Mm-hmm.
God just had to trick me. He was like, okay, you know what? Nikki always say, my big sister always say, if you want Hope to do something, tell her to do the opposite. I'm convinced that God told her that because that's how God played me. He was like, you know what? I'm gonna need you to do this, that, and the third, so you can go get your little job, this, that, and the third. And then as soon as I did it, he flipped the script like, nope, I'm gonna tell everybody, tell you no, ain't gonna be none of that. And you gonna go back over to that business that you've been building and keep building it. Like I'm telling you, he
Mm-hmm.
played me. He played me to the 10th power. But it's cool. I still rock with God though. He's still my G though.
Now he played you, but yeah, you was out here living your best life. I
Living my
mean, God, you
listen.
don't think God blew your mind with your life and where you are today?
Oh, my mind definitely listen. This listen, pause. Not even trying to be funny, not even trying to be churchy. But when I say mind blown, like I'm literally living 1,300 miles away. I have no family in Houston. You feel me? Like I have no family in Houston. I have family that I've built over the years. I have friends that I've built over the years. But I live on my own. You know, me and my girlfriend, of course, the bills is paid. We go eat what we want to eat. We do what we want to do. And it might sound minute to other people, but when
Mm-mm.
you grew up in a situation where your lights was getting cut off every week, people, I got PTSD. My girlfriend will tell you, like, as soon as if we get a notice that say something about to get cut off, I'm running around this world like, I got to go get some money. Can't let the bills get you feel me? Because like that's the
Yeah,
way I
yeah,
grew up. You feel me? And it's
yeah.
no slight to my mom or any of that. She did the best that she could do. But there were things that I just was like, God, this might be what my life is. You feel me? Like I thought that your stuff getting cut off was normal. You get what I'm saying? I thought that moving was normal. We moved 15 times before fifth grade. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought coming home to your stuff on the curb was normal. And then I had to reprogram my mind to realize, no, Hope, it ain't normal to pay your bills late. It's not normal to have late fees and stuff. You're just making the situation worse for yourself. Like for
Mm-hmm.
years, I was like, I pay it when I pay it. I just pay the late fee. It is what it is. Like as long as it don't get cut off. And then it shifted from that to, nah, I pay that before you get a late fee. Then you got a couple
Okay,
extra dollars to play
listen.
with. Then it got to not just pay it on time, period, or pay it beforehand. You ain't got to worry
Look,
about it.
have you reached auto pay status? Because that's when you know you
No, but
grown.
that's where I want to be at in life. I want all my bills to be on auto pay. I'm talking
And
about
don't even think
and
about it,
not even just
okay?
auto pay, cause this is gonna blow their mind. I want to be on auto pay and I don't want to have to lock my cards.
Boom.
Clock it. When I get to that status, do you know how grown up and accomplished I'm going to feel? Oh my god, boy, you ain't gonna be able to tell. I'm gonna be walking around this thing like
It's like when you got that deadline, though. I guess it might, put a little bit of fire under that booty.
okay, I'm trying to listen.
Listen,
Listen,
yeah.
when I get to that, I'm grateful for where I'm at, but I know I got some places I need to be, and I can't wait to get there. Boy, I put
Yeah.
boy, you know, boy,
It's
cause I'm
crazy.
be calling you like, hey, I put two of my bills on auto pay today, baby. I
All right,
swear to
wait a minute.
God.
So let's put one bill on auto pay. How about we do that? Let's do it. Let's
Oh
put one bill
Lord, the
on
way I
auto
just
pay.
start sweating, Jesus help me.
We
I
can
did
put
try
one
it
bill
before.
on
I
auto
tried
pay
it
because
before, but the problem was the
put
lock card situation. You get
put
what
the
I'm saying? That's why I
the
said,
cheapest or not the cheap. Put the lowest bill on auto pay.
shoot, my lowest bill still a couple $100.
What? No water, no electricity.
I live in an apartment, so water is included in rent.
Oh
Um,
dang.
my electricity bill was just $200. I just paid that. It was
Netflix. You ain't got no
one ninety
Netflix. You ain't got
seven.
no.
Well, key work for Comcast, so
Oh
we don't
shoot.
really Netflix and chill around here.
Oh shoot. Y'all
And
Comcast and chill.
you
Oh
feel
god.
me? We Comcast and chill. So that
I
still
know,
require a lot
cuz
of
you got.
growing up, but I'm almost there though. I swear I am. I'm almost there. Like I'm so much better with budgeted money, so much better
Mm-hmm.
with not just going to spend it because I got it. I'm much better at
Ooh.
holding money. It was a time in life where We talked about this before in another episode. I was so used to making quick money, I would have to give my money to my sister to save it because I didn't know
Mhm.
how to save. I didn't know how to tell myself no. I've gotten so good at telling myself no. Sometimes it blows my mind.
That's awesome.
Sometimes,
I
and I can be transparent like this. I never talked about. You ain't never seen me on social media talking about my finances or my extracurricular activities. But I'm gonna just keep it very transparent with you. There was a time where I would spend my last money on weed and not
Mhm.
think twice about it.
Mhm.
Now I can't even. I can't even bring myself to spend $20 on weed if I got less than a couple $100s. You get what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
my mindset just so different,
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like it happened overnight, but then when I think back over, it's like, no, it took years of just telling myself no a little bit, a little bit, a little bit
Mhm.
more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Like, no is a powerful word when you telling it to yourself and to other people. Like, you got to
Yes.
learn how to tell yourself no, and you got to learn how to tell other people no. And that was two big things that I did not know how to do. Didn't know how to do. Moving to Texas helped me with that though. Being so far away from my family.
Yeah, because it's like you don't want to have an itchy feeling all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like feeling like you running low to where you are putting yourself in a situation that triggers you and bring you back to your childhood, which is
Mm-hmm.
a situation you don't never want to be in again. So no, it makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. I hear you. I hear you.
One of your bullet points is finding peace in divine detours. I just
Mm.
want to touch on that because a divine detour and a detour are two different things. A divine detour is when God intervened, and
Mhm.
ain't nothing you can do about it. And a detour is when you decide I'm going to venture off from the plan that I set for myself and do probably what you ain't supposed to be doing in the first damn place because it wasn't part of the first plan.
Mhm.
Sometimes you got a detour, but most of the time when you
Yeah.
actually sit down and make a plan,
Mhm.
why are we deviating from the plan? You know what I'm saying? We as humans have a bad habit of deviating from the plan when we sat down and put the plan together,
Yeah.
with intent.
I will say that I will say, and again, not getting too spiritual with it, but like for me, the relationship that I've developed with God is just helped me find peace in knowing that I'm making the right decisions. I pray over every major decision that I have, and that included whether I was going to still be in my position or not in corporate, right? Because at first it was a lot of anxiety. Like I had to go on medical leave and all that stuff. But when it came down to the decision, I didn't feel scared. I prayed about it and I felt at peace because I knew it was something I had to do. It's just certain things like I think we all have small whispers, whether you can call it intuition, the universe, God, or whomever you serve, or nobody. It's just in your heart of hearts when it's time to make a move. And I do believe that it's more divine and spiritual than people give it credit. You know what I'm saying? Because some people like, I don't know how I made it through. You know exactly how you
You know
made it.
exactly how you
You know
made it
what
through.
I'm saying? You may not know how to identify whatever it is, but you know that it wasn't just self. You know.
And it don't everybody believe different, so we ain't gotta call it God. You get what I'm
Mhm,
saying? But we know that, like you said, you
mhm.
get them whispers, them,
Yeah,
you
and you
feel me?
get
Like,
and this is the thing too, and a lot of people talk about it. When you get anxiety, that's because you feel like you don't have enough, or you know what I'm saying, kind of like
mm-hmm,
you
mm-hmm,
feel in disarray, ill prepared. Like that anxiety is triggered by confusion. But
mm-hmm,
when you are very solid on a decision, you don't have those type of feelings. You know what I'm saying? Like you may be a little nervous, but that anxiety is different because anxiety causes overthinking.
mm-hmm,
Like you are all over the place. It's like, no, when you got the plan in place, you know that it's something that's about to happen. You have a lot more peace. And even if you don't necessarily have all the control, because we never do, but it's like you did all of what you were supposed to do.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like
I
you
can
had
give you an
control of
example
that.
of that.
Yeah.
I made a status the other day about how I used to be scared to walk in a room with certain people. I
Mm,
used to be scared because I wasn't prepared because I didn't
mm,
I was prepared in what I knew, but I
mm.
wasn't prepared in the industry in the, you know what I'm saying? Like there was a lot for me to learn and I knew that I wasn't taking the time out to learn it. Whereas now I walk in any room and be just fine. I know, like I used to be scared of being the gay black woman. I used to be scared of being the least educated in the room. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
the whole nine. Now I don't gotta do no math to walk into these rooms. They, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gotta pass an English test. I gotta know what I know, and I know what I know about what I do, and I know what I
Mhm.
bring to the table now. So it's very much easier for me to walk in those rooms with my head held high and close those deals. And not just that, I used to get super nervous when I got big orders because I was like, "What
Mhm.
if I got a refund? How am I gonna refund this big order? I gotta use the money to put the like." So much anxiety used to go through my head. Whereas it's like
Mhm.
now I get a big order. I'm like, okay, if something happened, another big order will come through and we'll cover it. Or
Mhm.
I'm so confident that nothing is going to happen that we good. Let's just get it done. Let's do what we do. You feel me? Like,
Mhm.
but it wasn't always like that. I used to be scared because I used to be like, what if
Yeah.
something wrong happens? What if something bad
What if
go wrong?
everything
Like,
goes right though? It's all about that mindset. Like, ooh,
mm-hmm.
when I get this big order, this is going to open up more doors of opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Like, changing the narrative and the self-talk can really change the trajectory of your life and how you show up in the world. And so that is awesome that you've been able to evolve into, having anxiety and then growing into this confidence. Like, it really makes my heart smile. I'm so proud of you for being able
I
to
did
be
not used to be
confident
confident at all.
in your craft, but that takes time, and you just never know like what people are thinking or going through. But the fact that you're saying you're confident, you're able to go into these deals and these rooms and be able to talk pop your, you know what, that's
Mm-hmm.
that's so commendable, because people, no matter the age, some people are still just not confident in their, even if they know it all. You know what I'm
But the
saying? Well,
confidence
not know it all,
didn't
but you
the
know what I'm
confidence
saying?
didn't
Like,
start from being in the room though. It started because of I what I realized is I didn't have no relationships. You know what I'm saying? When I say relationships, I mean like now I have personal relationship with all my vendors. So I'm able to move a little bit more confidence. Whereas before,
mhm,
I just was doing whatever. You know what I'm saying? It was like, okay, I'm gonna go over here and get these t-shirts this time because they cheaper. Whereas now it's like, nah, I'm still gonna go over here. That might cost me 10 cents more, but I know they're gonna deliver. I know, you know what I'm saying? I know when I walk in, they're gonna be like, Hope, what you need. They know me by name. You get what I'm saying? So it's
mhm,
also doing the work behind the scenes to make sure that what you say you can deliver, you can actually deliver. Because a lot of people just talk and they don't even have nothing to back it up with, no systems in place, no to go to people, no nothing. You know, like even when it comes to outsourcing stuff, I'm confident in who I outsource stuff to and things because I know the relationships that I've set down and built in the conversations we've had behind the scenes where I've explained to them, like, look, all I got is my name. You know what I'm saying? I will continue to bring good business to you, but you got to deliver on your end too. And this is what I can do. And then I actually go deliver it. And so now they more confident in being like, oh, you know what? We're going to give Hope 500 shirts at this price because we know she's going to be right back. You get what I'm saying? Like,
mhm,
so just, I want people to understand that it's not about just going in the room and being confident in you. Oh, I got the best clothes on. Oh, I got the beautiful smile. Oh, I can talk real good. You got to have the systems and everything in place once you leave that room for that confidence to keep on confident.
mhm. No, I hear you on that word. So moving on to, I know you talked about relationships and whatnot. What about a time that maybe you had to start over? Like, I know we talked about the detour, and sometimes when you detour, you do have to start over. So, like, has there been any times where you've had to pivot and start over and not necessarily feel shameful about it, but more so of feeling confident about the
A
pivot?
million times, especially in the
Like
line of work
what?
that I do. But the thing about it is, it's crazy that this is one of your topics because I'm literally doing
Our
my best.
topic.
You know what I mean? I'm doing my best to take in more information as far as not just scrolling down Facebook and watching people fight and all of that, but actually like literally going to get something from when I'm in on social media, particularly like YouTube and TikTok, because that's really where the good information been coming from here lately.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody said you should not be ashamed to start over because you're not starting from scratch. You starting with the knowledge that you already have from the previous time that you tried to start. And
Mm-hmm.
that set with me because you know how many times I had to start over, and in the beginning it's like I gotta start all over. I gotta start from scratch. I gotta make a new website. But then when I thought about it, I was like, yeah, I had to make a new website, but what took me 6 months to make the first website took me 30 days to make the second one because I knew a little more. And yes,
Mm-hmm.
I had to go through a name change, but I know better now to I'll never have to go through another name change if I don't want to. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I
Mm-hmm.
had to change my website name, but I know better now. That's why it's YBIN print and not yourbrandingprint.com. Because the
Mm-hmm.
shorter the website, the easier it is for them to retain and remember. Like it's just
Mm-hmm.
stuff that you pick up over time that
Yes.
you able to put forth to that next time when you do got to start over, so that you really
Mm-hmm.
actually not starting from the drawing board. You really kind
Yeah.
of got a leg up. You really kind of, you know what I'm saying?
Listen.
You starting at the
You,
middle point. You feel me? Like, when track
yeah.
people run and how they be lined up and it be like somebody be the farthest back and somebody be you ain't the farthest back no more. You somewhere in
Yeah.
that middle ground starting. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like you might be the third or fourth runner, not the sixth or seventh runner. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
But if you don't ever
Yes.
look at it like that, it's always gonna feel like you starting over from scratch, or you always gonna be ashamed to start over. Me, I'm not ashamed. I'll start over today. See, somebody asked me like, "Would you sell your company?" If you would ask me that 10 years ago, I would be like, you crazy? How hard I worked on this company, how much money I had to put into this company. Today, if you ask me, I'd be like, yep, because I already know how to start over and get it right back. Like,
Mm.
you can have it. You about to give me 25,000 for your branded print?
Listen, this is the thing.
Do
Let me
your
tell you
thing.
something. If somebody asked me if I was gonna sell something, I'd be like, I need a percentage, but they got a majority of it because I still want to get paid on the back end. I, you know, because I'm like, listen, I still want to make a little bit of money off of my
Smart
knowledge.
woman, it sounds
You
like
know
to me.
what I'm saying? Just making money off my intellect. But I definitely can attest to it. I agree with you wholeheartedly because when I was thinking about this topic we were going to talk about, I was like, yeah, I've started now I'm on my third business. I started with calligraphy, then I did notary, and now I'm over here, about to launch like consulting and coaching, right? And so again, like of course it's just I'm not starting from the ground, but I'm definitely in that midpoint where I'm like, okay, I had partnerships and I did work with schools and work with students and all those things when I did calligraphy, right? And then when it came to notary, I started a YouTube channel and I was able to get subscribers and get all these people literally still email me and ask me questions about a video I made maybe 2 years ago. And I'm like, this happened a long time ago. Like laws probably changed since then. Like, but it's like, okay, I did those two businesses. Each one is completely different. And I felt like it was necessary at the time, but right now working on my consulting and coaching business feels right because this is something that I want to do long term, right? Like I had to learn all the ins and outs of that, and I'm still learning, but it just feels right this time.
Right.
And even it was a video that Magic Johnson um he has online. I don't know if it was from the Invest Fest. It might have been, but he was saying how or it could have been somewhere else, but he was talking about how give yourself 3 years to really pour into a venture that you're interested in because you're going to need that time. Of course, you need to talk to your partner, et cetera, but you really need to give yourself 3 years. And so, I don't know. I listened to that a couple times and I'm just like, okay, so I need to at least give myself 3 years to really launch. But you have to be consistent. You got to do the work and just knowing like with this third business, because people still be sending me stuff about calligraphy. And I'm like, thank you for sending this. I don't do this anymore.
Right.
People tag me with notary. I'm a mobile notary. I still have an active calendar and all that stuff, but that's not where I'm pouring all of my energy into, right? And so now consulting, I'm like, okay, this got to be it, Dominique. You like it's okay to start over, but I'm tired of starting over. So I definitely would say like it's okay to pivot, but you gotta stay consistent and give your all to something. And even when it gets hard, don't give up. You know what I'm saying? And I had different reasons for stopping each of the other businesses I had.
Mm. So
So
let me ask you a question. How important is it to let go of timelines and control sometimes?
you know what? I don't think I've okay, wait. When I think about timelines, I'm thinking about it in two different ways. So like
Okay.
in my personal life, I don't really have certain timelines because I'm 36, I'm unmarried, and I'm childless, right? If I decide to get married, if it's God's plan for me to get married, to have children, then I'm going to trust that it's going to happen when it's going to happen.
Right.
So I don't really have timelines there, and I know that could be probably crazy because some people like, girl, you need to be thinking about if you want to have children or if you want to get married. But I'm like, listen, I have to follow the plan that I believe is for me until otherwise. Because everything that's happened in my life has really happened when it was supposed to. I can even go as far as I was 31 when I bought my first house. Okay, I stayed with my family until I was 31. Now, before I used to be very embarrassed, you know what I'm saying? Or when I dated, I didn't really tell people that I stayed with my family because I felt like everybody my age, they had apartments, they was doing, playing house with their partner
Girl,
and
because
just
they had no choice. Their parents kicked them out.
well, that may not be true. I don't know, but I just only was worrying about myself and what my story was. You know what I'm saying? So for me, in my mind though, I never wanted to move into an apartment in my 20s because I understood what the rat race was in my mind because I stayed in an apartment before and I'm like, I don't want nobody above my head. I don't want nobody's kids, literally a wall next to me. Like I would rather get a house or wait for my partner. And so after a while, my mindset started to change over time. I was working at a mortgage company. And so I started to think about home ownership different. And so I had finally got to a point where like I was even looking at houses before I even had the money to even be a homeowner. Okay. But I had to start doing the work and then things started to change over time where I got a higher paying job. I was able to get with one of my realtor friends and I was looking at houses that I couldn't even afford yet. And then when I got my raise with my new job, then I was able to actually apply, get pre-approved and et cetera, et cetera. So I go back to say like I never had a timeline of when I wanted to even be a homeowner, but it it was kind of embarrassing. And then after a while I did get a little bit comfortable, which I don't recommend. But I got comfortable enough to where I was like, oh yeah, I could just take all this money and live my life. I could travel. I can do these experiences. I don't have to, pay rent and all of that stuff. Like I went through a whole a lot of different stages of staying with my parents until it was time for me to be more of an adult and get my own home. So, um, I didn't have a timeline with that, but I did just let things flow. Now, when it comes to a career, I would say honestly, my only goal at the time when I first started my corporate career was to just be that girl. Like I'm talking, oh, being a decision maker and having a house, having a car, having blah 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 blah. Like I actually achieved that. And it wasn't all of what I thought it was gonna be. So I did become my dream person or dream girl when I first started corporate, but now I'm dreaming bigger and I don't have to have a timeline necessarily. I just know that I need to make it happen. So,
Understood. Understood. I guess I'm like you in a lot of ways. I don't have a timeline personal wise. Like I don't. I'm probably gonna be the kid that don't have no kids. I got enough nieces and nephews. I just can't see that for myself. But also, I'm not. Who's to say at 45 God don't be like go adopt little Billy? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not
mm-hmm,
saying it's not on the table. I'm just saying it's not in my timeline. It's not something
yeah,
I'll be worried about. Like oh, I got to do this by the age of this.
mm-hmm,
But it was a time where I thought that, like, I wanted to have a white picket fence, the wife, the kid by 30, the whole nine. And then it's just like, do I care about any of that in real life? No, I only care because that's what they taught us in church. You know what I'm
yeah,
literally, there was so much stuff that I only cared about because that's how I was raised. And once I
mm-hmm,
really got away from that, I was like, you know what? I can still love God and have create my own timeline and create,
yes,
it within his, what the rules of the Bible outside of being gay. I can still do everything, love God, but do it on my time. Like nobody said I had to be 30 and married. Nobody said I had to
mm-hmm,
have a kid.
mm-hmm,
You know what I'm saying? So as far as
mm-hmm,
timeline, personal, I'm like you. I just don't have one. Like
Yeah.
Whatever come my way, come my way. I guess the only timeline I got personal wise is I want to make six figures. You know what I'm saying? Like before I'm 40. Like
Mm-hmm.
personally, I'm not talking about my business. I personally want to make six
Yeah.
figures before I'm 40. That's about the
Yeah.
only timeline that I have as far as that.
Mm-hmm.
And then with business, like I'm gonna like kind of learn to throw timelines out the way because it's just like working on a project. Sometimes you meet the
Yes.
deadline, sometimes you don't. And
Yeah.
sometimes meeting
Yeah.
the deadline means what's the words that I'm looking for? Not giving your best effort or best, you know what I'm saying, like cutting corners. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
meeting the deadline means cutting corners, whereas I'd rather miss the deadline and not cut
Mm-hmm.
corners. You get what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So for
Yeah, and
me, it's a situation by situation thing.
that's a great point because I do agree it is definitely situational or on a case by case basis because I will say there are some things like for quarters, I have quarterly goals. So I will say I have some timelines. That's why I said it varies. Like for example, if I knew like with graduating, right? Graduating college, I knew that I had tried too many times. It was almost 18 years for me to get one degree. And so I was like, listen, Dominic, you need to have your degree by X date. I want to have my degree by the time I'm 35, right? And so I did give myself a timeline on that. And it was because I was stalling, I was procrastinating, and I was like, if I give myself a timeline, this will light a little bit more fire under my butt. I will be more intentional, because sometimes you do have to give yourself deadlines because then you'll keep kicking the can down the road and put something ahead of it, especially if it's not that important to you. It's just all these different things. So I will say, when it came to like certain goals professionally, I did have a timeline, but I think overall, like with life, I don't know. I just feel like a lot of things didn't have a timeline. And it's interesting that I say this because I am a product manager or project manager, and it's like that's literally like what fuels our work is that we do check things off the list. We do have deadlines. We do have action items. And if the action items are done by said deadline, you have to pivot and et cetera, et cetera. So um I just feel like there's so many deadlines already. I try not to like put too much pressure on me, especially like when it comes to like the child part or the married part.
And I
Um,
think I'm the same way because
so
with
yeah.
print, it's always a deadline. So like anywhere where I don't have to have a deadline, like
Mhm.
I want to keep it that way. Cause like
Yeah, 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 yeah.
living your life deadline by deadline is so stressful. It is so
Yes. It's
stressful.
like, where do
Like,
you find the joy? Where do you enjoy the journey if you're always under pressure?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So yeah,
And
very.
something that you said, delay doesn't mean denial. So even if your timeline is delayed, don't mean you denied from that process that you're trying to get to. It just
Mm-hmm.
means you need to spend a little bit more time putting a little more, and putting them little special sprinkles on that mug to make sure it's perfect. You know what I'm saying? So I always just kind of look at it like that. Like if I miss a deadline, it was a reason behind it. You get what I'm saying? Like I needed
Yes.
to come back. I need to get, like, even just for instance, even with street team, we got contracts with different people, whatever. One of our biggest contracts is a dispensary, and they didn't
Mm-hmm.
renew last month. I was a tad bit concerned, but I knew they had stuff going on. A couple of their stores got broken into. It was a lot going on, so I was a little bit concerned only because of all of the stuff going on their end, not because
Mm-hmm.
of the work that we put in. Because I know they love us, but at the same time, I was like, you know what? Just because this is delayed, I'm going to take advantage of it. And I got to take advantage of it. I got to get a little rest in. I got to focus on some other
Yeah.
things, take my mind
Right.
off of that and put it somewhere else. And then they circle back. They ain't just circle back. They doubled the play and put bonuses on top of it. You get what I'm saying? So my
That's
delay didn't deny me from anything. It
congratulations.
just set me up for even greater success. Because in that time where they
Yes.
was down, we were still doing little things to take care of them. Like for instance, they got
Mm-hmm.
street sign holders. We were still making sure they had street sign holders pulling up the whole like stuff that they paid out for directly. We were still supplying employees for them. You know what I'm saying? They had call offs. Okay, I'm gonna have this step. I'm gonna have this person step. Okay, I'm gonna
That's
send this person over to
awesome.
this building. Mind you, I ain't getting paid $1 to do this, but they
But
just
you
spent so
showing
much.
up though. That's
They just
partnership.
already spent so much money on me. It's the least I can do. You feel me? Like, and I know a lot of people be like, "That's stupid." Like, they ain't pay you. Nah, man. Like, sometimes I ain't do nothing that cost me no money and didn't cost me no real time. It didn't cost me no time to pick up the phone and be like, "Hey, Martina, can you go over to Maine and sign hold? They're gonna pay you $12 an hour." You get what I'm saying? Like, I got
Mm.
to be a blessing to somebody else, make sure they got a paycheck. I got to help out my client in their time of need, and then look how it worked out for me on the back end. You feel me? Like I said, they doubled up the contract and put bonuses in place that I didn't even ask for. Didn't ask that man for one bonus. He's like, "Look, if you bring 500 new customers, I'm gonna give you $1,000 extra dollars. If you bring another 500, I'm gonna give you an
Right.
extra 50. You get what I'm saying? And so on and so
Yeah.
forth. I ain't asked for none of that. But I think it's because he's seen like, dang, we didn't even pay Hope for last month, but we ain't miss a beat. Like, even with the break-ins and all of the stuff that was going on, like, we still had employees, we still had people showing up, we still had this, that, and the third. And it's like, I think that, you know, that made a difference. So yes, my process was delayed and I had to, maneuver and pay bills another way, whatever. But look at God, you
Yeah.
feel me?
It
Like,
worked
he
out.
always come
It
through.
worked
It
out.
worked
And you
out.
gotta trust that too, right? You gotta trust that you gotta trust the fact that just because it's delayed, it all makes sense. It just all ends up making sense. And you know what? Sometimes, a lot of times, I don't even get sad about stuff if it's delayed. Listen, okay, now if you're late, sometimes you was delayed because you might have been saved from something that just happened. You ever just been getting ready for something that you late? You like, dang, I cannot find my keys. I know I put my
Mm-hmm.
keys somewhere, and you probably
You get on the
driving past
road and
an
there's 10
accident.
accidents in your way.
Listen, listen, it could be protection. Now I'm not saying be late all the time, but I'm saying like there are a lot of reasons
Divine
why there are
intervention.
delays.
Look,
You have
divine
to trust.
intervention is what we call that,
Yes,
okay? For
yes. So
sure.
just trusting that things are going to be better. And I know a lot of people, even online today, just talk about like, just show me how good it could get. You know what I'm saying? And again, just because it's delayed, don't mean it's denial. So yeah, that's all we got. That's all I got.
I love this episode. It's one more thing that I want to touch on and just make a big deal out about, and that's pivoting. Because pivoting in business and in personal is so crucial. But it's the hardest thing to do because essentially it's change, and we both know that change is not easy for nobody. But
Mm,
me pivoting has been the best thing that ever happened. Learning how to be able to pivot. For instance, we had a street team before. It didn't work out. I hated it, and that was 6, 7 years ago. And it took me
mm,
6, 7 years to circle back, but now it's one of the best things that we ever brought back. But also, I know better now. I know how to work it. I know how to approach it. You know what I'm saying? Because now I got experience under my belt. I've worked with other companies that do street team or use street teams to, a lot of these major concerts and stuff still use street team.
mm,
BET uses a street team. Some of your favorite brands use street teams. When you out and you see them energy drinks and stuff, that's called a street team. And most of the time, those people don't even work for the actual company. They work for a company
mm,
that's specifically supply street team. They get a folder, read this folder about the company so you can have some talking points, go to work.
mm.
You get what I'm saying? And so
Nice.
you just learn over time, you feel me? So sometimes when you pivot, it might take you, some time to get it right, but pivoting is the best thing that ever happened. Even as
Mm,
far as, when I first started printing, I didn't do designs. Now we do designs. um when I first started printing, we only did some stuff in house. Now a lot of our stuff is done in house. You know what I'm saying? So pivoting, I just want to encourage everybody that's, listening to this. If you can learn how to pivot and move on the fly in business, not
mm,
necessarily in personal. Yes, you do need to learn how to pivot in personal, but sometimes moving on the fly in personal means moving out of emotion, and that's not what you want to do. Whereas moving on the fly in business means being able to make a quick decision and act upon it. You know what I'm saying? If I have an employee call off and I can't, get another employee, now I got to pivot. I might have to go in and step in myself. You know what I'm saying? I might have to work those hours myself, or get on the phone with my client and be like, okay, we're gonna try again tomorrow. So that's what I mean by on the fly in business. Those are not emotional decisions. Those are decisions that have to be made within a quick amount of time in order to keep business and the flow of business going. But the best thing you can do is learn how to do that and learn how to do it on the fly, but effectively. Meaning
mm,
you have enough data points backing you up that says if I make this change, is not going to devastate the outcome of what I'm trying to do, but it's going to help in this moment get the outcome to where it needs to be. So pivoting, that's one thing that I want to, leave with the people as far as something that they need to learn and
Mhm.
become great at. Become great
Yeah.
at pivoting when you're an entrepreneur. Become great at making quick decisions on the fly that are beneficial to you, yourself, in your business,
Yeah.
and not being emotional about it, for sure.
Yeah. And I would leave with saying that, and I think we've all heard this quote of nothing is constant but change. And
Woo!
so best thing to do is
You
to
made me scratch my
really
mustache.
the best thing to do is to really um strengthen your critical thinking skills, to be able to trust that things are going to work with you and for you. Things are happening for you and not to you. You know what I'm saying? Be more optimistic and not having the victim mentality, because that really can change the way that you handle life. And we talked about the purpose being heavy. We talked about, you having a plan versus God having a plan for you. And then also we talk about just starting over. All of these things play into how are you reacting to these things that are happening to you, because life happens every day. It's just a matter of how you treat it, how you see it, and what you say inside and what you think inside is eventually going to show up in how you do things. And literally, a lot of people also say, like, hey, your life is a result of your decisions. So, what do you want your life to look like? Right? There's always going to be change, and you just have to deal with it. And it's not to say you should dehumanize yourself or you shouldn't have emotions, because you are human. But it's like, okay, let's just take a breather. Let's think about it. Let's really think about some of the outcomes. And I'm not saying like you got to do it immediately, but don't dwell in it either. You know what I'm saying? Don't stay there for long, because some people are more processors than others. Like some people act off impulse and some people are processors. It's okay to find a little bit of balance there, but just know that everything is happening for you and not to you, and everything gonna be all right. So that's what I got.
Man, this episode, I just love every episode we do. Every episode because my favorite episode. I don't care
Yes.
if only two people watch it or three people watch it or 300 million people watch it. It's
Hey.
like every episode heals a little part of my inner child just being in, because you got to think, like, I
Mm.
never thought it was okay to talk about most of the stuff that we talk about.
Mm.
And because a lot of my views be controversial, not and stuff like this, because but just period, I usually don't speak my mind. I'm not the one who going back and forth on Instagram or Facebook or none of that, because I already know my views is controversial. So
Mm.
this platform, having this platform with you and being able to talk with a like-minded person, it's so self-healing. You don't even understand. So I just
Aw.
want to say that every episode becomes my favorite episode, and just being able to do it with you and just being in a feeling like I'm in a safe space, even though
Yes.
potentially 10,000 million people could view this and still be able to feel like I'm still in a safe space. I love that. And
Yes.
yeah, man, I can't wait to bring y'all the next episode, man. We got some great topics for this
I'm
season.
excited.
And when we get to that 10th episode, we celebrate it. I don't care if we only got
Yes.
50 views through all the 10
Yes.
episodes, man. I'm going
Yes.
crazy. I just want to say thank you to everybody who take the time out to listen to our
Yes.
episodes,
Thank
man.
you.
And I wouldn't want to do this with nobody else besides you, Don. So
Oh, cuz don't make me cry. Try to make a bug cry. No, but I do appreciate this. I do love our talks. These are things that we literally talk about in our private conversations, and to bring it to the screen, it definitely is like, oh man, how much do I share? How much don't I? But like you
mm-hmm.
said, we have a safe space. We're able to be ourselves. And listen, we're just sharing with the world what we do. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And prayerfully, it does offer some healing, a little bit of direction, a little bit of clarity, and us just being able to show up for each other, but also help people in the process, right? So it's just, I love this, and I'm just so grateful. And we hope that y'all are liking this. Please make sure y'all like it, subscribe, get your notifications on, leave us some comments, give us feedback, all the topics that you want us to cover. Like, listen, this is our conversation. And so we just want everybody to feel included to have this family talk with your favorite cousins. So
Cousins, man, we love y'all so much. And we're gonna do some live episodes for y'all. You know, I was blocked on
yeah.
Facebook for a minute, so we couldn't go live, but I got my access back.
Uh,
So I know we talked about going live on Facebook and then just giving y'all the episodes on YouTube. So y'all gonna be able to actually talk and converse with us in real time. Probably what's today? Friday? Probably next week. Maybe we should try a live episode next week. Maybe we should try a live
hey,
episode next
let's
week.
try it.
That way that they can talk and back with us and give us feedback because we always want to hear. But the most important part is we hope that our cousins got something out of this episode, man. Without y'all, this wouldn't be possible. We just want to be a positive influence the way somebody was a positive influence on us. And, that's the most important part. So, all right, family. It's been a great episode, man. We love y'all. You know what time it is. It's about that time. Get up out of here. We'll see y'all on the next episode.
All right. Peace.